to the Dizzy Red Panda podcast, where we get a little over-enthusiastic, chattering about our craftiness and creative endeavors. This week we have knitting, weaving, and more knitting, I believe is all we have.
Sounds about right. I'm Cheryl, just outside of St. Paul, Minnesota, and you can find me on Ravelry as Red and Instagram as Red Knitter.
I am Katie, and I'm from Duluth, Minnesota, which is at the very tip of Lake Superior, and I am on Ravelry and Instagram as Nerdy and Plaid. I had to think about that one for a minute. I don't know why.
It's okay, I'll keep track of you. You can find our show notes and all of our links down below, and please let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to chat with you.
Today we have final objects, we have works in progress, and then we also want to talk about some of our fall goals, since in theory fall is coming up, even though it doesn't feel like it here yet, and that's okay. All right, so for final objects, it's all me again. Cheryl
are gonna wonder if I ever finish any
projects than I do, so and I'm in a really big finishing binge. So the first thing that I have was the woven scarf that I showed last week. Let's see if I can. It doubled over. It's not very wide. It's like 6 or 7 inches wide. And that's mainly because I got sick of working on it. And this is half done by me, half done by my mom. So, because she has much more patience than I do. So, yeah. So it's really pretty. It has a nice fringe on it. I actually finished this on Sunday when we finished recording last time. So I just was like, I'm done.
Perfect.
It's
before your loom was due.
Well, because my loom was due that Monday. So yeah, it turned out really pretty, and I actually really like it, and I think I'm going to get some good wear on it. After I blocked it, of course, the magic of blocking, it's much more flexible and much more drapey, so that makes me like it a little bit more. As a reminder, the 2 yarns I used were Cascade Alpaca Lana del Oro in Twilight Blue. So it's this bright cobalt blue, which is very similar to my shirt color and the blue highlights I have in my hair. This is one of my favorite colors, if that's not terribly obvious. And then the other color I used was a West Yorkshire Spinner's Croft in the color Bottom. Yeah, so I tried it. I was okay with it, and I will like the finished object. The second thing I finished was a pair of mittens, because going into fall and working on mittens when it is 80 degrees out is the right thing to do. So I finished a pair of mittens.
That match.
They do match. Except one has a tighter gauge than the other. Slightly tighter gauge, even though it's the same numbers. Because it was this one, because I was finishing it right before classes were going to start. And I'm a little bit more stressed and tense around that time. So they're 2 mittens. You'll notice that they have a square top. This is the All Hands on Deck top-down mittens by Rachel Klusner. She is also known as Diabolical Yarns. She's the yarn dyer behind that, and she has a few patterns out, actually. And this pattern was so much fun. This is the second pair of mittens I've made using that pattern, and it's really more of a recipe than here are your numbers, here are how many rows you knit, because you can use any weight of yarn. You can use... and it can be used to fit any hand. And there are a couple of variations. So there's on the thumb, there's the top-down thumb, and then you can do put stitches on do a provisional cast on, and then knit up. And I'm like, yeah, why Kitchener when you don't have to Kitchener? Not that I mind it, but just do a normal mitten otherwise. And then, so what you do is you cast, I do the top-down just because I like it. And so I did a disappearing loop cast on. She suggests doing a long tail cast on. Disappearing loop creates you're not going to be able to see that at all because this blue is going to be super.
Oh, no, that's good.
So it's like the top of a hat. It's a drawstring. And I really, really like that cast on. I really just learned it about a month ago, and I just am going to use it for everything that I possibly can. So then you rapidly increase, and then until you get a hat top. And then you knit down to a certain point and you put it on waste yarn or stitch holders. And then for the top of the mitten, you can do the traditional round top mitten. I chose to do the top of the mitten like the toe of a sock, just because I like doing it. And then you measure out until you get over your hands, and then you join together, and as you're decreasing down here, like you decrease the whole thumb away and suddenly you have an entire mitten. It's kind of magical and like, okay, I've got pieces, and then suddenly you have a mitten, and then you just knit down. And I do a stretchy bind off because I have, well, a solid wrist. I really like these because you can use up like a precious skein of yarn as well. But these go so fast. I essentially did, minus the thumb, one of these mittens in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just go that fast for me.
Wow.
So I really like them, and I'm going to continue to make them. It's a fun project.
That's
so I haven't blocked
different.
them yet. So once I block them, they will actually be the same size. They're about 1 stitch off because of gauge. But yeah, so if you didn't notice how similar this blue was to maybe the scarf I was working on, this is again Cascade Alpaca Lana del Oro. Here, I'll just show that's what that yarn is. Yeah, that's all I have for finished objects. Again, like I said, things are going to be slowing down quite a bit because I'm not going to have as much time on my hands. I want to see what you're working on. I want to see your progress on your fingering weight sweater, which...
Yeah, so someday I'll actually finish something. And have something.
You work on bigger projects and your weight projects than I do. So, like, that's understandable.
Okay, so this has really been the only project that I've been working on. At least it's fit to show since we chatted last. So here is the whole fade of the sweater that I'm just going to slowly go through. Yay. All the way to the top. So I have the whole body done now, and I added on some hip shaping. So using a sweater that I already have and that I like the fit of, and then my body measurements, I figured out, okay, I went straight as the body called for however many inches. I don't even remember. I wrote it down. And then I knew I wanted to increase out another 2 inches. So I just did some math in there to figure out how frequently I needed to do my increases to get that extra 2 inches for my hips. So that's done. And then just, I guess did I do this last night? Last night or this morning, I picked up my stitches for the neckband. So that's just a little bit of ribbing. And now all I have left to do is the sleeves and weave in a bunch of ends. So this will get 3/4 length sleeves because that's my preferred sleeve length. And that's just because I shove up my sleeves anyway. So I figure I may as well just knit 3/4 length. So I anticipate that should go fairly quickly. And then I'll have a finished sweater.
Can I ask you a question about the ribbing on the bottom? Did you go down a needle size for that? Were you concerned, or I guess, were you concerned that it was going to suck in too weirdly, or because it's a slim fitting sweater anyway, it doesn't matter too much?
I don't think it's going to suck in all that much. It isn't even just sitting here. It isn't sucking in a whole lot. So I'm not too worried about that. And also, so the last yarn that I used, I didn't bring my tag with me today, but it's Hedgehog Fibers. That was a gift. It's lovely. But it is a smoother and a little bit thinner sock yarn than my other ones are. So I kind of think that it maybe won't have quite so much spring to the ribbing, and I just don't anticipate that it's going to suck in as much. So I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be fine. I also haven't tried it on yet because that's just how I roll.
Well, it's also been obnoxiously hot, and putting on a wool sweater to admire yourself in. And as much fun as admiring yourself in a new knit is great, you also don't want to, overheat and faint and etc.
Yeah, none of that. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. What have you been working on?
I have been working on, you'll notice a definite theme to my knitting today. One of the works in progress I'm working on is a brioche cowl. It's called the Duet Cowl by Maureen Clark. And you have knit this, and I've done like a rainbow and gray cowl out of it, and I really, really liked it. So this is how far I've gotten. And I have quite a bit more yarn, so I suspect that I could probably add another 3 or 4 inches to this. So it's just a nice kind of slow project that I'm working on. It is an old whip, but it's from earlier this year, so not 4 years ago as previous whips have been. And again, I'm using Lana del Oro. So that same blue, and then I'm working that gray, which here you can see that gray a little bit better. It's just a light alpaca, and it is a 100% alpaca. It's Juniper Moon Farm, and it's called Harriet. They consider it a worsted weight, but it is definitely on the lighter end, so I consider it more DK, but it works just fine. It's like a Cascade 220 in lightness. And the color, I think, is travertine. It's the really light dove gray one. Like, there's not a whole lot to get confused with. It has a nice rolled bottom, so it's just a couple of rows of stockinette, which makes it really nice. And I think it will be a nice, easy knit. I've just been picking up and working on it as necessary, or as I've just been watching TV or something like that.
Nice.
How are the socks going? I'm just asking.
Oh, the socks, I've just started toe decreases, but I didn't bring them to show today. There wasn't really much to show.
All right.
I'll probably wait and bring them when they're done.
Okay. I get that. The next thing that I'm working on is a cabled hat. It's called the Faux Ball Fight Cable Hat by Lauren S. Gavins. It's made out of a bulky yarn.
Fun cable.
It's a really fun cable. I screwed it up somewhere because this is why I shouldn't work on cables late at night, so I still have to drop down and fix it. I dropped down, there are like 3 pattern repeats around the whole hat, and so I had messed it up 3 times. So I'm going around and kind of dropping down a couple of rows, fixing the cable, and then working back up. It's not hard, it just takes time. This is a mustard color. There, you can see that color a little bit better. It's a mustard color, which is one of my new favorite colors because it's a jewel color. It's a jewel tone, and I only really wear jewel tones, so I can wear this. Plus, this will go well with my winter coat. Anyway, about the yarn, it's a bulky weight. I think this is more like Cascade Eco or Cascade Eco Plus. It's a, let's see that. It's a 2-ply, which is really nice. It's a Norwegian yarn, so we'll see how that pronunciation goes. It's Norwegian because it has Norsk on it. So I think it's Blane.
Can't help you.
Can't help you out on this. I actually got this from Isolde Teague's shop. She has a shop, online, because I've not been to Scotland to visit her shop. But in July, she was having a birthday sale. So I'm a sucker for a sale. So, and I like trying out different breeds of yarn. So this is definitely a Norwegian, so it's a longer staple. So it's not like merino soft, but it's not super rough on the skin either. I think it's going to block really nicely. And there's a beanie and a slouchy version, and I'm concerned I'm going to run out of yarn, so I'm doing the beanie version.
Good call.
So yeah. So it's a fun knit so far. I just started it this weekend. I brought this weekend to work on at the cabin because it was that or work on the sleeves of my weekender sweater, which I didn't.
I think we know what you're going to pick.
I absolutely know what I'm going to pick. To be fair, my mom had also brought her sweater and also did not work on that. So we're even on that one.
It'll get done.
Yes. Yeah, so we've been fairly focused in our knitting. Well, you're always much more focused than I am in my knitting and crafting, to be fair.
That's about to explode because it's fall.
It is.
And I want to make all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of pumpkin spice lattes?
So much. So we're recording on Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
It is my tradition for the past several years so you can get a pumpkin spice latte before Labor Day.
Yes.
But I do not, because I think that's wrong. So here in Minnesota, at least when we were growing up, school used to start the day after Labor Day. I don't believe it does anymore. I think they start earlier now. So the day after Labor Day just feels like the beginning of fall to me. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to take my little kiddo and we're going to go to Caribou Coffee and I'm getting a pumpkin spice latte to celebrate the first day of fall.
I like pumpkin flavored things, but I do not like that amount of cinnamon and nutmeg. I think it came down to, I don't like cinnamon that much. I think it came down to when I was a little kid, I'm like, ooh, a little cinnamon on toast is a good thing. So let me take a whole teaspoon of it in my mouth, which is a really bad idea. So I feel like it reminds me of that. But I wish they've moved more towards spice and rather than pumpkin flavor.
Yes, definitely.
You may have that. Go ahead. She really would like my tags, and so I will just give her anything to keep her happy. You can tell what kind of parent I would be. Anyway, All right, so let's talk about fall stuff. I know fall doesn't arrive for another 3 weeks, but honestly, leaves are
Yeah.
starting to turn up here. I saw I saw a couple of trees when I was up at the cabin, so that's about 2 hours north of Duluth, and they had yellow leaves, and I saw a tree that had all red.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so fall is definitely coming. I want to know, what are some of the things that you're working on?
Okay, so very excited. The first thing that has really caught my attention, well, let me back up. A couple weeks ago, I believe I texted Katie at like, I don't even know how early in the morning, and I was like, I need a giant shawl thing to put around myself. Like, that's what I need to make this
Mm-hmm.
fall. And I started with one pattern idea, but then I was poking around from there, and I wound up with two project ideas that I want to go with
Okay.
for fall. So the first of these is actually not a giant rectangle as I was originally planning on.
Okay.
In fact, neither of them are. But the first one is the Gale Poncho by Alicia Plummer. I hope I'm saying her name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's out of bulky weight yarn. And
Okay.
it is a poncho, but it doesn't read as super poncho-y to me. It's almost kind of tunic feeling. Yeah, I could get away with wearing it with leggings, which is very appealing to me. And it's just like super comfy cozy. So I'm really,
Mm-hmm.
really excited about this one. This is going to be my first cast on for fall, I think.
I like how slim fitting, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is the best term. Usually when I think
For
of
a poncho.
ponchos, I think of like super huge, like a blanket. But this is more
Mm-hmm.
like tasteful, skin
Yeah.
chic.
Yeah, it looks put together, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Which
I
I
like
value.
the style.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work from home. I don't have to dress any particular way. Like, I don't even see people all that much. So I like being comfortable, but I also like feeling put together and cute. So I think this really fits the bill for that.
Absolutely.
I Yeah. I don't have yarn for it yet. I'm planning on buying yarn for this one. And I was looking through other people's projects on Ravelry, and I noticed, so even though the look of the pattern is a little bit on the rustic side,
Mhm.
I found that I was really drawn to people's projects that used a smoother yarn with sort of a sheen to it,
Ah.
and probably in a semi-solid. So I was thinking something like a Malabrigo bulky would probably be a good
Ooh.
fit.
Like a superwash, or are you just wanting something with more of that shine to it?
Something with a shine to it, and not a single ply, because I don't want
Right.
a pilly mess on my hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is something I want to be able to wear like every week because it really does look super cozy
Yeah.
and well suited for my lifestyle.
It's like a grown-up sweatshirt. Yeah, this looks like an updated version of that. Do you
Yeah,
have any ideas on colors that you might want?
that I'm not positive about. So I'm gonna have to really watch myself in terms of colors because I want something that I can wear with blue jeans or with black leggings.
Got it.
And preferably with either black or brown boots.
Oh,
So I want something that's pretty versatile.
sorry.
And we'll see if I can hit all of those marks with a color and still find something, obviously something that's gonna look good with my
Right.
coloring.
Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna go to the yarn shop and see what they have and what I like. This is definitely something that I want to buy in person.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have a sweaters quantity in the store. That's something that I'm worried about. So I wasn't able to go this weekend because it's a holiday weekend,
Right.
so there were limited hours. But maybe sometime this week or next weekend I'll be able to go shopping.
Yay.
Second super cozy wrap in wooliness project for fall. This is the Ash Beast shawl by Layla Robb. It's a Brooklyn tweed pattern from several years ago, and I actually do have yarn for this one.
That's so pretty. What weight of yarn is it?
It's out of a worsted weight yarn. I love how textured it is because I'm in the mood for a shawl, but I'm not necessarily in the mood for knitting lace, and I wanted something that felt really substantial. So I think this fits the bill. It's not a rectangle.
Not a rectangle.
It's a triangle shawl, so I really stepped outside the box. And this is me super stepping outside the box. Here's the yarn I'm using.
That's so pretty. I really love that color green. I like the heather in it too. That will go great.
I am such a sucker for a heathered yarn. I can't even help it. And really, like, I'm a redhead. I wear green well.
Yeah,
It's a good
you
color
do.
for me. So this is reclaimed from one of the sweaters that I frogged. So I have a sweater's quantity of this that I yanked out.
Oh,
So it's a little bit kinky, but it's fine. It'll
yeah.
all block out and knit up and everything. So I'm really excited for this. I think this is going to have more of a rustic feel to it in a really good way, I think.
Yeah, and I love all of that texture. Oftentimes with triangular shawls, like if I'm working like on a body of a shawl, it can get kind of boring waiting until you get to the interesting part along the edge. But I like how textured this one is, and it's all over textured, so it's something, it's engaging to the brain.
Yes. And I hear the construction is interesting. I haven't actually taken a look at the pattern, even though
Okay.
I've owned it, I think, since it came out.
Oh,
But I own it in a hard copy, so I have to pull it out so I can take a look at it.
absolutely.
But someone on Ravelry mentioned that it had sort of interesting construction, so I'm
Oh,
interested to see what she meant by that.
exactly. Yeah, because along the edge, it looks like it might be an applied edge, but
Yeah,
the
I'll have to
construction
see.
doesn't look like that. Yeah, that looks really interesting.
I'm excited.
I want to do the ribbon wrap by Illy Tilly. This came out earlier this year, and it's a big rectangle shawl, which Cheryl was looking for.
Ooh, yay.
As soon as it came out, I would say within the first couple of days, I bought the pattern. And I have been looking for the yarn for it. So it's out of a worsted weight yarn, which I'm interested in a nice cozy sweater right now, or a nice cozy wrap. And I think that's kind of where my brain is right now. Well, it seems like for both of ours, at least for our plans so far. And so I actually got the yarn. I was looking at our wall of Malabrigo Rios, and I found Matisse Blue, which, shocking, is like this color. I feel like today it's like DRP is brought to you by the color blue. But it's a beautiful cobalt color, and that's Matisse Blue, and then there's a purple blue. I don't know the color of that one. I don't have that one memorized. And then there was a deep purple. And so like those three shades went together really well. And then I was on a hunt for like a light gray because I love gray. Clearly also, as you can tell by today's projects. So I think that will be a lot of fun. And I've heard the construction on that one is really fun as well. It's essentially you start out with two triangles.
Oh,
From what I look at, you do
wondering.
them together. So it's similar. I think a similar construction to like the foolproof. Well, obviously not joined in the round. So I think that should be fun to work on. And that's the big project that I want to work on this fall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. What else do you want to work on?
Okay,
We
I
both have
have.
sweaters on our lists too.
Yeah, I was thinking I could mention this sweater next. This isn't the last thing on my list, period, but this is the last knitting that I'll mention today because these are sort of the three projects that I'm most excited to knit this fall. So this is the Anders or Anders, I'm not sure which, baby sweater by Soren Care. I'm going to say Anders.
I think it's Anders. I also have
Anders.
this one in my queue.
It's been in my queue for a while and it is so cute. I love doing color work. I love making baby sweaters, so this is very logical. What am I doing wrong?
No. I just had a cat attack my foot with teeth, claws, and then she started thumping with her back leg. So I apologized for that. I'm just going to put the picture over my face during that incident. I think that's such a cute sweater. And I know a lot of people have knitted. I can see like over 800 times it's been knit. And it's so cute.
It's adorable. I'm hoping that this can be the Christmas card sweater for this year.
Oh,
I think it would be really good for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so last year we had the whole family in Dale of Norway sweaters, which was like my vision when I was knitting this tiny baby Dale of Norway. But now it's like, maybe it could just be a picture of my kid now. That'd be great. Then I don't have to worry about it. So this one I also have yarn for already.
Nice.
And I know, I'm trying to pull from my stash when I can. Good. So I'm going to use leftover Dale of Norway bulk yarn. And this is there we go. This is a very deep navy. and a cream. And this is left over from a ski sweater that I had knit for my mom that it called for like almost twice as much yarn as it actually used. I don't know what they were thinking when they drew up the yarn requirements for the sweater. It was insane. So I have a whole bunch of some shades of blue and some cream, and I decided to go with a really high contrast for this. Yeah. This is the folks, so this is washable, which is a good idea.
Yes.
And if I were buying yarn for this one, I probably would have gone for a semi-solid, like in the pattern photo, because I really like the look of that. But I don't like it enough to get new yarn when I have perfectly good yarn here. So
exactly. Well, and then your son and your mom will have coordinating sweaters, which I also think is really cute.
I'm sure they will want a picture together.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been wanting to work on this sweater, but I have issues with color work and I need to practice that, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that's such an adorable sweater. I really love it.
We could do a knit along.
Jump in. Yeah, I may have to jump in and claim as a really slow knit along.
I'm probably not going to start it until, I would guess, October sometime. I'm going to knit that Gale poncho first.
Yeah, absolutely. You deserve to knit something for yourself first. The sweater that I want to work on is an adult sweater. It's called Gigi. I should say, I did not pick this because it's the same name as my cat. But I really loved how it's a short sleeve sweater. So it's called Gigi by Devin Ventra. And she has, I think, both a cardigan version and a pullover version. And I want to do the cardigan version because I like it. It's a short sleeved sweater, which I think would make it out of like a bulky, or it's a worsted weight yarn. I think I'm going to probably use a Cascade Eco in a mustard color. Surprise, surprise. And which I've had for ages and I've been wanting to use. And then it has kind of like I like that high collar on it because
like
I think
it
could be. What?
Yeah. Almost like a funnel.
Or yeah, like a funnel or a cowl. I don't know how tall I will end up making it. But I really like how you can just probably throw it over a long sleeve something and it would look cute. And it wouldn't be overly warm, especially if I wore this to work because I walk like 4 miles a day on campus right now, just going between classes. Wow. I'm not kidding on that at all. And so I think it would be really cute with just a cute pair of skinny pants, whether it's dress pants and boots. And I think it would work really, really well. Definitely. Or going outside. Yeah. And I don't know if I'll make it with pockets. I'm not.
Oh, you have to do the pockets. Look at the pockets. Come on.
They're cute, but they're not functional. And I like a lot.
You could put a phone in that pocket.
Okay.
You could put a cookie in there.
Cookies, yes.
Think of the cookies.
I'm just imagining myself now teaching, like, let me lecture about this important topic and expect you to, like, critically think. They're already used to having me having coffee in class, so. You have one other thing on your list of a Halloween costume. And can I ask you to talk about that? Because I don't know what that pattern is.
I know. Okay, so since before our son was born or even going to be born, my husband and I have had a brilliant idea for a family Halloween costume with a toddler that we're very excited about. And that is a Mary Poppins Halloween costume from the Jolly Holiday scene.
Okay.
So the plan is for him to go as Bert with the candy striped suit.
Yes.
And so we're hoping to just find a white suit at a thrift store and like paint some stripes on it. Like go pretty simple there. And then me as Mary Poppins, and I'm hoping to find an old wedding dress that I can hack up into something that'll work instead of starting from scratch. Because it would be really fun to do like a complete reproduction, but I think just because of time and everything, that's not going to be a possibility.
And it's like a one night wear or
right. And then our kiddo, who, as I said, is 18 months old right now, so he'll be, a couple months older than that at Halloween. as a
Ah,
penguin.
it's one of the penguins. Oh, that's so cute.
So I just picked this up the other day when we were in the store for something else. So this is Simplicity 1032. I don't know for sure that I'm going to use this one because I only looked through the pattern book that was on sale.
Got it.
So I'm going to look at the other ones and just make sure there isn't something better. But I was already in the store and they happened to have a penguin costume. So we're super excited
for adorable.
Yeah. It's going to be all too much work and I'm probably going to stay up too late to get it done. But I don't care.
Oh, come on. But the pictures are going to be so worth it.
It needs to happen. We've been planning it for way too long. So I need to get myself to a thrift store and find the bases for our costumes because this one is fine. This one I just need to go and get some fleece and sew it up. It's ours that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
But I'm planning on starting with my son's just because he can always just go as a penguin. If I screw up the rest of it,
got it.
He can be a penguin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start there.
There are patterns that are in that too. That comes in your book. That's adorable.
Yeah.
I love the unicorn / Pegasus. And a Hello Kitty. But that's not really a Hello Kitty because it's not a Sanrio. Anyway.
Right.
I love looking at rip-off costumes.
Yeah.
Rip-off character costumes to see what they call them because they're close but not. You're like
Magical Snow Queen.
With blonde hair. You're like, I wonder who that is. The last thing that I'm working on, or I want to work on, and I just picked this one because it's been in my queue for a while. I want to work on color work this summer, or with this fall actually.
Yay.
Fall comes and I just want to do color work. Except I'm not very good at it, and I think that comes down to practice. It always comes down to practice. So the hat that I want to do, and I've just put this as kind of maybe a placeholder for some other color work, but is the split back snowflake hat by Susan B. Anderson, which is a really popular pattern. I will probably not do the split back part. I'll probably just do the regular beanie, but it has cute little cables on the ribbing, and I'm like, I can handle the cable part. And then it has a pretty basic Scandinavian style snowflake pattern on it. And it just uses worsted weight yarn. So I have some Cascade probably in my stash. I shouldn't say possibly. I have some Cascade in my stash. I just need to find it to use.
Perfect.
So it's a really cute hat. I know it's been knit a lot, and she always gives really, really good pattern instructions. Yes. So I know that, first of all, just understanding how that works and getting my fingers to do the thing will be good, but I also have some colleagues down at my local yarn store that are very good at color work. So if I mess up too badly, they can kind of help me through that too. So
for sure,
some pretty basic things that I want to work on, but I think they'll be wearable, comfy pieces.
Yes.
Viva the cold weather, right? If only.
It'll be here soon enough.
Not for another month. It just... Yeah. Anyway, any other projects that tentatively you are thinking about, or other types of projects you want to work on?
You know, I have a whole mess of baby sweaters in my queue. A lot of them. So I decided to just pull the one for today because that's the one I'm going to make first. But I think there are plenty more in there as well. And then for sewing, I'm planning on doing some project bags and things. And I should really get back to sewing shirts for my husband because he has been really neglected since we had a kid. So I should get back to that.
That's a decent idea as well, especially since you've already perfected his pattern for his shirt.
Well, now it needs some more adjustment because the guy keeps on changing shape on me, so.
That is how life happens.
This aging thing really...
Oh, it's rough. Once you hit 30, it's all downhill.
I know.
Life is just over. By the time you're 36, you might as well be dead. I'm totally kidding on that. I really need to make that clear in case sarcasm wasn't good enough. So I have a lot of baby sweaters coming up as well. A friend overseas is pregnant and I need to whip out a baby sweater for her. And then I have a close friend of ours is also pregnant, and so she just found out the sex of her baby, and so I get to do some crazy knitting again for her, which I'm excited about. And then 3 of my work colleagues who I'm fairly close to are also all pregnant. So yes, so I have lots of babies coming up, and they don't know the sex of their baby, so I need to do some gender neutral sweaters. And all I've been knitting lately or finishing lately are girly things. So
because they're fun.
Because I have the yarn and I got on a weird pink thing that I just wanted to work on. So, yeah. Now, my goal needs to be to finish that sweater sooner than later. Like, I might try to do like a nano swaymo or whatever that is. As that, like, I don't know, fake internet points are really motivating for me.
Yes.
I don't know why. They just are. So I think I could do that. But we might consider, with all the baby knitting that we are thinking about working on, we might consider a knit along for that.
We sure could.
Something kid-like.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
We sure could.
Absolutely.
Let us know if you're interested down in the comments.
The more people we can, like, wrangle in, the better. I think that's fun, too. Like, oh, you're stuck on Sleeve Island? Same. I am as well. I mean... Not that anybody else does. Thank you for joining us for this episode, and I hope you get excited about your crafts. Let us know what you're working on or what you're excited to plan or any of the future knits that you have for fall, because, you know, if I can add more to my list and my queue, why not? Just absolutely why not? I'm always open to that, too. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.